All right. Welcome in, everyone, to our deep dive on the future of Apple.
Future of Apple, yeah.
We are super interested in this upcoming Q1 earnings report.
Oh, absolutely.
And we found this article titled, What DeepSeek, China, and Trump Mean for Apple, ahead of its Q1 earnings.
Dense one.
It's a lot to unpack, but we're going to break it down.
Yeah, let's get into it.
And uncover all the good stuff in here.
Right away, what jumps out to me is how resilient Apple stock has been.
Yeah.
I mean, remember what DeepSeek did to, like, the rest of the tech world?
Yeah.
NVIDIA's market cap dropped something like $600 billion.
Yeah, that was a huge shakeup.
It was insane.
Apple, though, rebounded.
About 7%.
Yeah, like, why do you think that is? What happened there?
I think, analysts are pointing to Apple's relatively small investments in AI.
Okay.
Compared to, like, the Googles and Microsofts of the world.
Right.
It's almost like they're insulated from the turbulence because they haven't fully committed to AI, at least not yet.
Because they're not as exposed.
Yeah, exactly.
If this whole AI bubble bursts,
You got it?
that's a really interesting way to look at it.
It is interesting.
But Apple does have their own AI endeavors going on.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the deal with, what's it called? Apple Intelligence.
Apple Intelligence, yep, that's their approach to AI. And it's definitely more of a, like, small is beautiful kind of philosophy compared to that bigger is better that we're seeing from, OpenAI and Google.
Right.
They're aiming for smaller, more focused AI models.
Interesting.
Kind of like, think of it as a precision tool versus a sledgehammer.
Okay.
More nuanced approach.
I see the difference in approach.
Yeah.
But is this small is beautiful philosophy,
Yeah.
does it actually work?
Well, there have been a few hiccups.
Oh, really?
For example, remember that iOS 18 news summary feature?
Oh, yeah?
It was ended up generating some inaccurate summaries.
Yeah.
And it caused a bit of a stir, especially in the news world. Obviously, accuracy is key.
Yeah.
So Apple ended up hitting pause on that feature.
Yeah, that was, I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
It made a lot of headlines.
It did.
Makes sense to hit pause, but it kind of makes you question
Yeah.
what's going on with their strategy.
Makes you wonder.
Especially for investors.
Sure. Investors have to be thinking, can Apple really keep up?
Yeah.
Especially if they stick with this small model approach.
Yeah, especially when their hardware is known to be.
Back notch. So good. Yeah, so the AI situation is, it's a little uncertain for Apple right now.
Yeah.
But what about their performance in other areas? Like, I know you've been digging into their sales figures in China, which is, massive market for them.
Huge. Yeah.
So what's the story there?
So that's actually another area where they seem to be struggling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, during the holiday season, iPhone sales in China actually dropped by 18%.
18%.
18%.
Wow.
Which is...
That's huge.
Yeah.
What's driving that?
Well, definitely competition.
Okay.
You got these homegrown brands like Oppo, Vivo, Honor, and Xiaomi. They're making some serious moves.
Yeah.
They're offering very similar features at lower prices.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, they're appealing to that sense of national pride.
Right.
And then there's also the Huawei resurgence.
Oh, yeah, the Huawei story.
Right.
It's pretty incredible what they've done to bounce back.
Yeah, after all those, all the restrictions.
Right, from the Trump administration.
That the Trump administration put in place.
Yeah.
They came back with their own...
their own operating system, Harmony OS.
Harmony OS.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, and they're doing really well.
So they're adding another layer of difficulty for Apple.
Right.
It's a crowded market. And Apple's not the only player anymore.
Right, it's not as simple.
Not at all.
As it used to be.
And this trend actually isn't limited to iPhones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even the Vision Pro.
The headset, yeah.
Headset.
That was supposed to be their big...
Right, big augmented reality play.
Yeah.
And that relies heavily on AI and machine learning, especially for features like room mapping.
Right.
Well, that hasn't been meeting sales expectations either.
Really?
Yeah.
So, not a great picture for Apple so far.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag for sure.
AI, declining sales in China. The new products underperforming.
Yeah, where's the silver lining here?
Right. What's the good news?
Well, there could be a silver lining, if all this AI hype turns out to be a bubble.
Okay.
Which some analysts think it might.
Right.
Then Apple's diverse hardware focus.
Right.
Like, that could be a real strength.
It could end up being a good thing for them.
Exactly.
If the focus shifts away from this AI dominance, that really strong hardware foundation that they have could really help them navigate these changing tides.
I think so.
But how does their small model approach to AI fit into all of this?
Well, their emphasis on on-device AI, where the processing happens on your iPhone or iPad instead of in the cloud, that could become a real selling point. Especially if people start prioritizing privacy and data security. Having that powerful AI that lives right on your device doesn't send your data to the cloud.
Interesting.
I think that could be a real game changer.
Yeah, that taps into this, growing concern that people have to insight.
Totally.
So on-device AI could really be a strategic advantage for them.
I think it has that potential.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about this upcoming Q1 earnings report.
Q1, it's coming up.
What are investors going to be looking for?
Well, I think the big question is, what's Apple's plan? What's their plan for the future? They're clearly behind in the generative AI race. And investors are going to want to see a clear vision for how they're going to catch up.
So what options do they even have?
That's the big question.
Can they close the gap? Or
is it too late?
Have they missed the boat already?
We'll see. Well, they've already started exploring partnerships. They announced that deal with OpenAI to integrate ChatGPT. And there's some talk about a potential partnership with Google for their Gemini AI platform.
Okay, so those are some big players in the AI world.
Absolutely.
So it seems like Apple's recognizing that maybe they need some help to really compete.
For sure.
What about DeepSeek?
DeepSeek.
Could they be a potential partner?
That's a really interesting one. DeepSeek is kind of a wild card here. I mean, they have incredible cutting-edge technology, especially with their distilled AI models.
Okay, so what does that mean?
So basically they've figured out how to make these powerful AI models smaller and more efficient. So they can actually run on devices like laptops without needing massive cloud computing power.
So it's like small but still powerful.
Exactly. Which kind of aligns with what Apple's trying to do with their on-device AI. So a partnership between Apple and DeepSeek, I mean, that could be huge.
It could be a
That's
really
powerful combination.
Combine Apple's hardware with DeepSeek's AI tech.
With their user base,
Huge user base.
So you said DeepSeek was kind of a wild card, though. What are the things that could prevent that partnership?
Well, geopolitics. DeepSeek is a Chinese company. And U.S.-China relations, as we all know.
Complicated.
Complicated is putting it mildly. And don't forget what President Trump said. After DeepSeek's release.
He wasn't a fan.
He called it a wake-up call for U.S. industries. And, raised concerns about national security.
And that has been a big focus.
Huge focus.
For the White House, especially when it comes to technology. So any partnership, it would have to navigate some pretty choppy political waters.
That adds another layer of complexity
to
Apple's already complex.
Exactly. And then, you got to factor in the new administration.
Right?
What's their stance going to be on big tech? And Apple specifically, especially their ambitions in China.
It's hard to say. I mean, Tim Cook.
Apple's CEO.
Donated
donation.
A lot of money to the president-elect's campaign.
Personally. Interesting.
Which suggests that maybe
they're trying to,
smooth things over a little bit.
Get on their good side. But this administration has been pretty tough on big tech.
They haven't been shy about that.
Remember what Vice President J.D. Vance said?
I don't remember exactly.
Something about tech companies having too much power.
Oh, right.
So there's definitely a push to regulate the industry.
For sure.
So Apple's got to walk this tightrope. Keep China happy, keep the U.S. government happy. And, stay ahead of the curve in this crazy tech landscape.
No easy feat.
It's a lot. a lot to juggle.
And we haven't even talked about what all this means for, the average user.
Yeah, for us.
What if Apple goes all in on this on-device AI?
Right.
What if that becomes the standard? What does that mean for privacy?
Yeah.
For data security?
Right. It's a big question.
It's a huge question.
We've already seen some of the issues.
Oh, yeah, with cloud-based AI.
With cloud-based AI, yeah.
Data breaches, algorithmic bias, all that.
So would on-device AI fix those problems?
Right.
Or would it create new ones?
Yeah, that's what we need to figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, with on-device AI, your data theoretically stays on your device.
Okay.
It's not constantly going to the cloud.
Right.
So, that's good for privacy, good for security.
Right.
But then who controls that data?
Yeah, that's the question.
Is it you, the user?
Right. Or is it still Apple?
Yeah.
And what about misuse?
Oh, yeah.
Could these powerful AI models be used for things like surveillance or manipulation?
Right, even if
it's on your device.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like we're in uncharted territory here.
Totally.
And we need to be part of this conversation.
Yeah.
We need to know how these technologies work.
Right.
What are the risks? What are the benefits? And how can we make sure they're being used responsibly?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype of new tech.
Yeah.
But we got to think about the downsides, too. It's a balancing act.
It is.
And Apple's right in the middle of it, trying to balance innovation, responsibility, competition, collaboration.
Yeah.
And on top of all that, they've got this whole geopolitical mess.
Right. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
And a little nerve-wracking, I'm not going to lie.
I know. What a time to be following Apple, right?
Seriously.
All these decisions
Yeah.
and these broader trends,
Huge implications.
it's going to have a real impact.
And all of us.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so compelling, right?
Absolutely.
We're not just talking about Apple's stock price or their new product launches.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah, it's about the future
It's the big picture.
of technology.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is
Yeah.
no one knows how this is going to play out.
Right.
That uncertainty, I mean,
Yeah.
it creates opportunities.
Right.
Innovation, disruption, maybe even a total shift in how we think about technology and its role in our lives.
It's true. It's exciting. Yeah, it really is exciting. And I really appreciate you walking through all this with me. This is a lot to consider. I mean, we covered Apple's AI approach, their challenges in China, the whole on-device AI thing, the political pressures they're facing.
Sure.
It seems like they're kind of at a crossroads. Wouldn't you say?
I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah, definitely facing some serious challenges. And the decisions they make in the next few months, leading up to that Q1 report, are going to be huge. But Apple, they have a history of coming out on top.
Yeah, they're pretty good at bouncing back.
Right. I mean, they've always been innovative. They've always been resilient. I wouldn't count them out just yet.
Yeah, I mean, they've surprised us before.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm kind of excited to see how they respond to all this. Will they just keep doing what they're doing, or will they try something totally new? Maybe even take a big risk to, reclaim their spot as the top dog in tech?
Yeah. Will they play it safe, or will they shake things up? That's the question.
Right.
And I think it all comes down to, how they handle this whole AI thing. Are they going to really go all in on these partnerships, try to catch up on generative AI? Will they just stick with the on-device approach, focus on privacy and security as their advantage? Or maybe they'll come up with something completely different, something we haven't even thought of yet.
It's a real cliffhanger, isn't it? We'll just have to wait and see.
We will. But, even beyond Apple, I think this whole conversation has really highlighted some major shifts that are happening across the entire tech world, like the explosion of AI, the growing concern about data privacy, the shifting power dynamics between companies, governments, and individuals. It's all connected.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than just Apple.
It is. It really is. And I think it's so important that we, as users, as citizens, that we're a part of these discussions. We need to understand how these technologies work, what the potential risks and benefits are, and how we can make sure they're being used ethically and responsibly.
That's such a good point, and I think that's a great takeaway for anyone listening. Don't just blindly accept the latest gadget or the newest trend. Do your research, ask questions, and think about the big picture. Because technology, it shapes our world, and we have a responsibility to shape that technology.
I love that. Yeah, knowledge is power, especially in this day and age where tech is changing so quickly.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for taking the time to break all of this down. It's been a really insightful deep dive.
My pleasure. It's always fun to chat about this stuff with you. And remember, the learning never stops. Keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and keep pushing for a future where technology truly serves humanity.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the future of Apple and the future of tech as a whole. We hope it's given you some things to think about, maybe even inspired you to do a little digging of your own. Stay curious out there, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.